Alright everyone, welcome back. So it is time for the 2024 Stanley Cup Finals Preview. This is the 5th Stanley Cup Final that I've covered in the history of this channel, 2020 being the first one and 2024 being the most recent. So, here's the interesting thing about these two teams. When I first got into hockey, and that was in 2017, and you can comment down below being like, oh, he's not been a fan for that long, he's a fake fan. You know, I've gotten those before. But when I got into hockey in 2017 and 2017-18, the Panthers and the Oilers were not good. They weren't that great. I mean, the Oilers were coming off of a good playoff run, but they wouldn't make the playoffs for another 2 years following that. And the Panthers just couldn't even get into the playoffs, period. And I've watched both these teams build their way up, acquire these star players, and kind of build their way to this Stanley Cup. So we'll get straight into it here, but I thought that was something I should mention, that we've come a long way with this YouTube channel, because when we first made this, the Oilers and the Panthers, I think, were both play-in exits when we made our first playoff thing, or our first year of the playoffs, but not this year. So the Panthers, they finished with a 52-24-6 record for 110 points. In the regular season, they beat Tampa Bay in 5, beat Boston in 6, and beat the Rangers in 6 to win the Eastern Conference and move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. So, here's what I think when I look at this. Florida has won their division, has been great this season, but one thing that I've noticed is that home ice advantage doesn't really matter, and that's something I want to keep in mind. Now, Florida does have home ice advantage, but we've seen in series before that really doesn't mean much of anything. And the Panthers have never won a Stanley Cup. Never. They have never won a Stanley Cup in the history of their franchise. So, odds are against the Oilers here, they have a decent chance. They have a 50% chance of winning it if you want to go by the metrics. But the Oilers, they went 49-27-6 for 104 points. They beat the Kings in 5 games, beat the Canucks in 7 games, beat the Dallas Stars in 6 games to win the Eastern Conference and move on to win the Western Conference and move on to the Stanley Cup Finals. Edmonton, for years, the narrative was they'll never get over the hump. They'll never win with McDavid. They'll never win with Stuart Skinner. And now they're only 4 wins away from doing that. I just want to put that out there. And I think the rumors of McDavid and Draisaitl, gone. I'm saying that right now. Even if they lose in the finals, I think that narrative is gone. Honestly, I think it's gone. So that's something I wanted to say first there. On the Oilers, people will say, and people have complained so much during these playoffs. I've seen so much of it about the refs, about the Oilers, just, they're a fraudulent team. If they were a fraud team, they wouldn't have beat Vancouver. They wouldn't have beat Dallas. They play a very well-rounded game. And just because they look at Stuart Skinner and say, not a starting goalie, not a good enough starting goalie, I don't agree with that. I genuinely don't agree with that. When you look at the numbers, sure, he's not good. He's not good on paper, but I think off paper, when you watch the games, he plays very well in some of the games that he plays. So, looking at scorers here, we'll go with the Florida Panthers first. I kind of went off track with Skinner, but we'll start with the Panthers. Matthew Tkachuk, 5 goals, 14 assists, 19 points. It's pretty much as impressive as last year. Not in the sense where, I feel like last year he carried them more. This year it felt like it was way more balanced, if that makes any sense. But Tkachuk, leading the way, has had a great playoffs. I think that's consensus. Carter Verhaeghe, 9 goals, 8 assists, 17 points. You want a goal? Verhaeghe's your guy. I mean, he's scored so many goals in the last couple of seasons, whether it's been overtime winners, game-winning goals, the clutch goal to give you the lead. He's one of those players that you need in the moment. A guy that can score when you need him to. He's one of those players. Alexander Barkov, 6 goals, 11 assists, 15 points in the playoffs so far. Selke Trophy winner. I think I said that in my Rangers-Panthers preview, but Selke Trophy winner, I shouldn't need to say more. He's been an amazing two-way forward, and he's someone that Edmonton's going to have to watch out for 100%. Sam Reinhart, 8 goals, 4 assists, 12 points. He is a UFA this offseason. I know Panthers aren't really thinking about that right now, but if the Panthers get eliminated or not, Reinhart's going to want a lot of money. So have fun with that. I'm not gonna lie, have fun with that. And if they make the Stanley Cup Finals for 2 years in a row and lose, and then they lose a lot of their guys, yeah, that would have to suck. I can't tell you the last time that's happened, where a team has made the Stanley Cup Final twice and has lost. I'm not gonna lie, the most recent I can think of is like St. Louis in the early expansion, like 1960s. I'm pretty sure there might have been a time before that, but regardless, that's still an insane stat. Like losing back-to-back Cup Finals doesn't happen very often. So hopefully Florida does not join that club. Lundell, 3 goals, 9 assists, 12 points. Lundell's been good. I mean, like, honestly, I said this in a lot of my recent videos with the Nordcast and the 2020 redraft. I said that Lundell's looked like a clutch playoff player. Is he a guy that can score a lot of points? No, not really. But he's a guy who can get you a goal here and there, is a good passer, a good skater. I think Lundell's been that in these playoffs. Sam Bennett, and oh boy, people did not like Sam Bennett in the early rounds of this playoffs. 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Yeah, people did not like this guy. They didn't. Like, I saw so many comments saying Sam Bennett's probably going to be number one. It was mostly with Boston. There was a little bit there with the Rangers, but Bennett's a guy that can get under your skin and is a guy the Oilers need to watch out for 100%. Evan Rodriguez finally here, 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points. I thought Rodriguez, he can fit anywhere in your lineup. He's a good middle 6 forward, a good bottom 6 forward. He's one of those versatile players that you need on a team to win the Stanley Cup. So Rodriguez, that was a great acquisition for sure. In terms of the Oilers, we'll go into the defense in the second year for Florida because I got defensive numbers written down here too, but I'm going to go to the Oilers for offense first. Connor McDavid, 5 goals, 26 assists, 31 points. The goals, not a lot of them, but he still can score you the clutch goal here and there. He's a guy that is a great passer, best player in the NHL. I've said that for years. He's arrived, essentially. He's been awesome in these playoffs, especially in the third round. Leon Draisaitl, 10 goals, 18 assists for 28 points. Draisaitl, undisputed. He's been probably the second best player on this team. I mean, there's really nothing much else to say. Those two guys are just a dynamo. That's been the thing for years. People still, and I still see the comments of them being a 2-player team. I'm still not on that boat. If they were a 2-player team, then how did they make the Stanley Cup Finals? How did they make the Cup Finals? You make your Cup Finals when you have depth and when you have a gritty lines and secondary scoring. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't make the playoffs, make the playoffs of a 2 players, let alone a Stanley Cup Finals. So the narrative that they're a 2-player team makes no sense to me. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 6 goals, 14 assists, 20 points. Nuge has been good. I think he's been versatile in these playoffs as well. Zach Hyman, 14 goals, 4 assists, 18 points. I've said in videos before about the Oilers, he's just been a scoring machine in the last 12 months. So a guy that's just been unbelievable for me to watch this season with the Oilers. Evander Kane, 4 goals, 4 assists, 8 points. Kane, there's people that don't like him. There's people that really don't like him, actually. But he's a guy that can score you a goal here and there. Not a bad depth forward. Dylan Holloway, 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points. Holloway had some clutch goals. Like I think it was game 6 of the second round, where he scored that 1 goal to put the Oilers up and ahead. I think that he's a guy that doesn't score often, but is a guy that you can rely on maybe for a goal here and there. That's someone you need in the playoffs. And then finally, Adam Henrique, who's missed some time, but 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points. Henrique, good player. I think he was a good deadline acquisition. I think he really benefited from this Oilers team. And so, yeah, that's the offense overall. Defensive, we'll go back to Florida here. Gustav Forsling, 4 goals, 7 assists, 11 points. Forsling has been unreal. A few years ago, when I looked at Forsling, he wasn't that big name of a guy. He was okay. He wasn't bad, but he wasn't a guy that I looked at and said, yeah, he's a good defenseman, I guess. He's just a third-pairing guy. He cemented himself as a first-pair defender in these last couple of seasons. And Forsling has been nothing short of impressive in these playoffs and has been honestly very fun to watch. He'll score you a goal here and there. He's known for that. So I give a lot of credit there to Forsling. Brandon Montour, 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points. Montour has been fun. I feel like he's been a little bit quieter this year than last year, but still can score you a goal here and there. Aaron Ekblad, 5 assists. That's just surprising for me. I figured Ekblad had more points, but I guess with some of the injuries he's dealt with, I think he might be playing hurt. Because he did have an injury before the playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me, but Ekblad's still a warrior on that defense. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, hey, I would love to see him win a cup as a Coyotes fan. 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. OEL, I've enjoyed him in Arizona. I miss him. And hopefully he's one of the guys that I'm rooting for to win a Stanley Cup for the Florida Panthers. On the other end, the Edmonton Oilers got Evan Bouchard, who's been insane. 6 goals, 21 assists, 27 points. People will make the argument that he feeds off of McDavid, feeds off of Draisaitl. I don't really feed into that. I think on a level that's there. That's an argument you can make, but I'm not like so overblown on it. I really honestly, I think he's a good defenseman. He's got good metrics, good defensive numbers too, in fact. So that argument is not relevant. Matthias Ekholm, 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points. Ekholm been impressive this year too. I think honestly, when I look in terms of guys that can score you the on and off goal, Ekholm scored a little bit here for this Oilers team and has been really clutch in that remark. Brett Kulak, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. Not known for his offensive capabilities, but better for his defensive capabilities. And then Cody Ceci with 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in these playoffs so far. So Ceci, another name there that people really kind of glance over a little bit, but I think he's a guy that's definitely worth mentioning. Not great defensively with some of his numbers, but he's been all right in these playoffs. Goalies. So goalies is an interesting thing. You got Sergei Bobrovsky with a 12-5 record, a 2.2 and a .908. Bobrovsky, no doubt about it, he's the best goalie of this in these playoffs right now. And that's saying a lot considering Florida shut down some damn good goalies. Swayman, Vasilevsky, and Shesterkin. Those were probably the 3 best goalies in the NHL around there. Vasilevsky maybe not, but those are some 3 really good goaltenders. So, yeah, Bobrovsky's been good. There's no question about it there. He proved himself last year. The guy that I really want to talk about, though, is Stuart Skinner. Skinner, 11-5, a 2.5, and a .897. So, I did some studying today. I looked at save percentages of goalies in the finals, not the playoffs, in the finals since 2000. If I didn't see that Marty Brodeur had a .897 as well in 2001, I probably would have kept going because he has the worst save percentage by a goalie in the Stanley Cup Finals since 2001. Now, does that mean that you need to make the narrative that you don't need a goalie to win in the playoffs? I don't know about that. Skinner, listen, his numbers aren't great, but the Oilers play this low event style of hockey that doesn't get up a lot of shots. I know Game 6 was not a good example of that, but they're still a team that does not give up a large amount of shots, to be honest. Now, does Skinner let in soft ones? Yes. Game 3 was bad. Game 3 of the conference finals was bad. There were plenty of goals in the second round that was like, oh, that should not have gone in. But regardless, I still think he's a good goalie. I know there's people that are going to doubt them. I still think he's a good goalie, and I think he can stop this Florida offense. If he can stop Dallas, and if he can stop Vancouver, I think he can stop Florida. Might be me doubting there a little bit. But to be honest, I look at the facts. I look at a lot of the things that I've seen on social media. I don't know. This series is really a coin flip for me. I could see the Panthers winning it. I could see the Oilers winning it. That's the cool part. These teams have not won in a while. That's the other thing, too. I said Florida's never won a cup. The Oilers haven't won since 1990. So we're going to see a team here that hasn't won the Stanley Cup in at least 30 years. And in this case, Florida never. So that's an awesome number for me. And I'm very happy to see that. See a new team break their drought potentially in this year's Stanley Cup Finals. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below who you think it's going to be. I'm going to go Florida in 7. I don't know. I might be Oilers tomorrow. I might be Panthers the next day. Who knows? We'll see. But regardless, I am sticking with Panthers in 7. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop your predictions down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy, make sure to like and subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate it. We're moving into the 2,800 subscriber mark. We're getting close to that, so I would appreciate it. But regardless, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Adios.